What is going on, YouTube people? Today, learning valuable lessons when grading cards. AKA, I got punched in the face by PSA. Well, I shouldn't say I got punched in the face by PSA. I punched myself in the face. I got cocky, and I thought I was invincible. And I was like, I grade sports cards all the time. I have a very high gem rate. I know what I'm doing. Let me send a bunch of Pikachus and Charizards in the PSA and flip them. I'm gonna make a mint. Easy game. Hashtag easy mode. And it did not work out the way that I thought. I got absolutely decimated on this submission. This was, I believe, a 21 card order or something like that, around 20 cards. I had a couple shipped home. I got, out of the 20 or some cards, I got 3 PSA 10s. The rest were PSA 9s. So like 3 for 20. One of the ones that I got was this one right here from Crown Zenith. And then some random, which I don't even know why I sent this in, Charizard from Crown Zenith. And then the other one was on a Doctor Strange Magic the Gathering Counterspell promo from the convention circuits last year. I had that one shipped home for my PC. So, the lesson that I learned here is stay in your lane. Clearly, I don't know what I'm looking for on Pokemon TCG cards. Because like I said, I got hammered on this submission. And it's compounded by the fact, and this is something that I talked about not too terribly long ago, is I was also a victim of circumstance that was just completely out of my control. And that is, when I sent these in, PSA was only a little bit backed up. Little did I know, I was just adding fuel to that fire, and then they ended up being more backed up than I realized. So these took a little bit longer to get back to me than I initially thought. It barely went, to be fair, you know, they give you the 3-month estimate when you send them in, and I barely went over that estimate. But typically, PSA, up until the beginning of this year, had been running a lot faster on this stuff. And not so fast, my friend, on this one. It went a few days over, let alone actually getting the thing back early. So so 2 things happened there. One, my grades ended up being bad. I got 9s, and Pokemon's a lot like sports. You don't really make money on 9s. In fact, sometimes you even lose a bit of money. And 2, while they were sitting at PSA for the last 3 months, most Pokemon singles went down as everyone else was doing the same thing, and a ton of supply has hit the market. So I got a little bit of a double whammy. And to add a little salt, not necessarily salt to the wound, but I cheated on this submission. I probably shouldn't have these back for another 4 to 6 weeks. There's a little cheat code that you could use. I don't want to put it all out in the air, but there's a little cheat code that you could use to get your submission checked in a lot faster. And I did that on this one. And it was checked in within about 2 or 3 days instead of having to wait 4 to 6 weeks just for the order to get checked in. I bypassed that line a little bit. It's nothing special. Anyone could do it if you could figure it out. You know what we're talking about over here. I've talked about it before. And I had that little advantage that I got these back way sooner than I probably should have, even though this took about 3 months to get back. So what I ended up doing, and I've done this before, to a degree. I have never straight vaulted before. This is my first time fully using the PSA vault. I have done, on the sports side of the world, I did a few submissions where I sent straight to eBay auction after the item completed through the new eBay integration with PSA. This time, since it was more cards and I didn't want to deal with these having shipped home, I just sent the whole order outside of the stuff that I sent in for PC to the vault. So it took probably about 5 business days, I would say, about a week in real time from when grades popped to showing up in the vault. Just this morning, I got the email while I was at work. They have populated in the vault. So now from here, I can list them as buy it now on eBay. You can see right here, I can sell on eBay. I can list them as auction or buy it now, starting bid, whatever I want to do. I could do all from here. And it is the auctioning process, the payout process is all very smooth. It's very simple. And then the other thing that you get, which I haven't dug into them a ton yet, most of them are typically a little lower than what you probably want to accept. One of the other things that PSA added in recently was this offers program where essentially they have buyers lined up that want these cards, probably most likely for repacks, and they will give you instant offers. So like right now, I can instantly sell this Charmander from 151, a PSA 9, for $34. I do not off the top of my head know what this typically goes for. I'm going to search in a window off screen really quick to see what a PSA 9 typically does. The one thing I will say is this number that you are seeing here is after all fees. That is just the number that you get. Like just straight up. There's no eBay fees involved or anything. You just get $34. So this looks like, I'm looking at the last couple, $40, $45, $59, anywhere from, looks like about 45 to 55 bucks, give or take. So it's not perfect. Just doing the quick math here. Yeah, I'm losing about $8 on that deal even after eBay fees. And that's what kind of most of these are. I have seen some, not myself personally, but people have sent some to me, some offers that they got that are actually very strong, and they ended up accepting them just to get the instant sellout. So for these, probably what I'm going to do is just list these straight on 99-cent auctions and let them rip. I'm going to go through and set that up later. I won't bore you with that. But that's what I'm doing with this submission. And then they pay you out through Stripe. It's very easy, very convenient, super simple to use. But my main takeaway here is the risks of grading are beyond just getting a bad grade or not getting the grade that you expected. You know, some of this stuff got a 10. I'd have been feeling pretty good about life. In this case, they get 9s, so I'm losing money on that. But the real tricky part is the loss of value because the cards were sitting there for 3 months. So it's like it's a double hit. I'm out the grading fee, and I'm losing money on the fact that the card sat there for 3 months and values went down. Now that you can't control. I have been in instances, not in Pikachu's, but in sports cards, where the cards sitting at PSA actually benefited me because the player got hot or something else happened and the value of the card actually went up substantially on its own just while it happened to be sitting at their office. What are you going to do? Definitely probably done grading Pokemon cards for flipping. I may still grab or grade some stuff for PC here and there, specifically in the Magic side of things. But in regards to hunting for raw cards and trying to grade them or stuff that I rip from packs, not that I open Pokemon packs hardly ever, we're going to retire from that game, I think, and let someone else can chase that profit if they want. So there you have it. The risks and rewards, more the risks of grading. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.